These, my friends, are the Hakii Time Pro and Hakii Action, and one is a sport-specific earbud, while the other is a good old stem styler. Oh, hold on. I'm reading your mind right now, and it seems like you have more pressing questions like, who the heck is Hakii, Aaron, and why should I even care? And to that, I usually say you're right, guys, because this, to us anyway, is an unknown brand, unknown quality, unknown customer service, and all that. But that's why I'm here. Like, this is why GearUP exists. I thoroughly test whatever comes through here, we talk about the pros and cons, and then I tell you whether it, or in this case they, are worth your time and money or not. So let's get on with the video. TLDR, I pick one over the other because, you know, even with earbuds, I prefer a monogamous relationship. But which one wins? Let's find out after these messages. That way. As always, guys, let's do a quick check on the specs. The Time Pro right here on the right goes for $90 on the Hakii site. There is Bluetooth 5.2 on board. Unfortunately, this is not a Qualcomm chip, so we're just relegated to AAC and SBC only. There is no aptX. Plus, there is active noise cancellation though, mono mode, so you can use the Bud Solo style while the other charges, and also a 50 millisecond gaming mode. Now, water dust resistance is IPX5, while the weight is 4.5 grams per earbud. Battery endurance, when I tested it, is at the lower end of being acceptable at 6.25 hours with active noise cancellation on at 65% volume. The Action, on the other hand, goes for $10 more at $100, and it comes in two different colors. There's black as well as this one, ice blue, and arguably this is my favorite color between the two. And this also supports Bluetooth 5.2, but unlike the Time Pro, this has a Qualcomm chip, so we have support for AAC, SBC, and aptX. There's also mono mode, just like this one, and a slower 90 millisecond gaming mode for whatever that's worth. Water resistance is IPX7, which means you can hop in a shower with it if you want to. Weight is 9.5 grams per earbud, and battery life, as far as I've tested this, real life use is 8.3 hours at 65% volume. As you can see, the Action is encased in very smooth and slippery plastics that will no doubt scratch really easily, but that's to be expected for an activity-based device. But again, for an activity-based device, I wish there was more of the grippy stuff here, or at least some matte plastics like the Time Pro, so it's easier to hold, because as it is, this thing is huge. As you can see, like a potato or something, or a bar of soap. So for people with smaller hands, and especially if your hands are sweaty, this thing is gonna behave like a bar of soap and just want to slip out of your hands really easily. The same thing, or kind of the same thing with the earbuds, at least it fares a little bit better. Here's the main body, which is slippery, but at least the ear hooks are more of the grippy stuff, so that's good to see. But though here for the ear hooks itself, I do wish it was bendable and moldable. But overall, the case itself is really well put together. I like the look of it, especially in this color. This is not real metal, by the way, that's just colored plastic. USB-C charging port, there is wireless charging too. And there is a button right here to activate the battery status light at the front here, at least nice and muted. There's a notch here for your thumb to pop open the lid right here, and it doesn't lock, by the way, so something to bear in mind if you care about that kind of stuff. Opening it up is really easy, and you can see here this molding is matte plastic, really easy to keep clean. All you have to do is have a Q-tip and just run it over with some cleaning solution. There's the charging pins and the magnet right there. Ergonomically, this thing is solid. All you have to do is pop it open and just pull the earbuds out and putting it back in just like so. Just a cinch, man. Now let's take a closer look at the earbud, and this thing is pretty simple, nothing complicated whatsoever, so easy on the user. The ear hook, as we mentioned earlier, this thing is grippy, the body is not. Touch control surface is right here where the logo is, this flat surface. It accepts single, double, triple taps as well as hold, and just like the Time Pro, they're both not customizable because the Hakiis don't have app support. Manufacturing lines are nice and decent. There's a one seam line right here, another one right there. There's a couple of gaps here and there, but really small. Most of y'all don't care, but you know, I would say that the manufacturing quality is good. Now, there's two microphones that handle phone calls, one right here and one right behind the ear tip. Can you see that right there? Charging pins are right here. And the business end of things, there's a 10mm dynamic driver in here doing all the grunt work, and it ports sound to this sound channel that ends in this metal mesh grill. Nicely put together. Now, the ear tips, while they're nice and soft and comfortable, they're not the quickest to put back on. They don't have a hardened center core, so it does take me a few seconds to really get it on and line it up. Yeah, this is kind of slow, but there you go. Alright, over to the Time Pro, and here we have a matte finish that kind of looks like, at least the surface here, a mix of granite granite and marble. I'll try to zoom in on this because most videos and photos out there don't do it justice or pay attention to this, but this is one of the things that really attracted me to this Time Pro, and it's mimicked here on the earbuds as well. More on that later. Overall build quality of this thing is nice and solid, no creaks whatsoever. I love the look of this. As I mentioned earlier, I like the bisection of plastics that bleed from the inside to the outside. Muted LED light. There's a button back here that activates that same light, and the wireless charging surface is also right here. There's a USB-C charging port at the bottom. The lid itself locks a little bit more than the Action, way more actually, but it still flops closed when you apply any kind of torque. Inside is shiny plastics, but I don't have any problem with this as much as the stem cavity right here. It's one of the tighter ones I've seen, and it's really hard to clean. I can imagine once gunk gathers down there, you really have to pay attention to make sure that the contact points are not blocked. Ergonomically, in terms of removing the earbuds, this is one of the hardest I've experienced in a long time. Unless your hands are super dry or calloused, this thing, especially if you're sweaty or oily the least bit, you're going to be standing there for a couple of minutes just to pry these things out. So I'm not a fan of that. The earbud itself, just like the Actions, is pretty well put together, but my favorite bit of all is just how it looks and feels in my hand, just like the case, and that's saying a lot for a stem style design. Here on the H is the touch controls. It accepts single, double, triple taps as well as hold, and right above the H is a single LED light. There are 3 mics on board here as opposed to the 2 on the Action that handle phone calls and noise cancellation. One at the bottom towards the stem right next to the charging pin, and also one at the back and another one at the top. There's a 10mm driver here doing all the grunt work, pumping sound through an oval ear tip in this case, and covered by a plastic grill. And the ear tips are pretty much identical to the one on the Action. That means they're pretty darn hard to put on. Yeah. And of course, we're gonna do the shake test now, and I have the lid open for the Time Pro, and this thing, pardon the shaking. Yeah, this thing, thumbs up for this one, and on to the Action, and I'm guessing these will fly out everywhere. Yeah, so thumbs down to that one. It's -3 degrees, but it's so worth it. If you can see it, the sunrise is super awesome. Anyways, we're out here doing the Bluetooth range test as usual, and I have some tunes playing there on my Pixel 6 at the end of my deck, and we're gonna walk the Time Pros. I have them on in case you're doubting me. Just trying to keep my ears warm here so I have to do 2 earbuds here, so it's gonna be an extended amount of time. I'm gonna switch between this and the Action in a second. So there's the phone at the end of my deck, and where I'm standing is around 27 feet. So just to give you a reference. And these, as we saw earlier, don't have a Qualcomm chip. It's just some, I don't know, no-name brand 5.2. So we'll see how this goes. Do you have any? Yep, I already have play issues. So it's around 30, I would say 38 feet is when we start having some play issues. It's no point listening to music at this point. I'm gonna keep walking as far as I can go. It's really slippery. Let me point it to you. It's just ice right there. I just cleared a little patch here and there for us and the mailman to walk, but man, this is rough. Oh, we just got a disconnect tone, so it's around 50 feet. That's not bad. So let's switch over to the Actions and see how the Qualcomm does. So we switch over to the Action right here in case you're doubting me again. Walking past the side of my house, line of sight is gone. Oh, we just got some sputtering right there. So yeah, it's about the same actually, around 35, 36 feet. I'm gonna keep walking and see how far these things handle it. Whew, how you guys doing? Thank you for joining me today. I hope I don't slip on this really slippery driveway. Still going okay. Yep, got a disconnect right there, pretty much identical, really. So around 55, 54 feet. Anyways, let's switch over to the microphone test down by the roadside, and we'll see how these things handle noise suppression. So first up is the Action, and here comes the big truck, and we'll see how this thing handles noise suppression. We'll lift this up for a second. That's a nice big logging truck right there. I tested these earlier. There's this weird buzzing. I'm not sure if you can hear it in this recording. There's this occasional buzz, like every few seconds there's a beat or something. I'm not sure if it's this ear mitts or something, but you know, lifting this up, you probably can hear it better. Wind suppression, not that great either. But overall, if you're using these outdoors, they're not bad. They're pretty decent. There comes another nice big truck. How's that sound? I'm gonna keep talking. You can hear how this thing does. How the Qualcomm handles this. But let's switch over real quick to the Time Pro and see how the known brand 5.2, Bluetooth 5.2 handles noise suppression. Alright, I switched over to the Time Pro. There it is right there, and we're gonna head down to the road again, hopefully get some good traffic. You can hear this probably in the recording. Here comes some traffic. I'm gonna lift my ear flap.
So the mics can do their job more realistically. You can hear maybe that my bass is there. It's really nice here, more fuller sounding than on the Actions.
So yeah, a win for the no-name Bluetooth
Brand here, so that's pretty darn impressive. Another thing I noticed though,
one thing I wish they had changed, ooh, nice big plane over there, is when phone calls come in,
the active noise cancellation, if it was previously on, will stay on. I prefer it to go through pass-through mode or turn off, so
you have more situational awareness as a phone caller, so it's for safety reasons. Anyways, more traffic is coming. How does that sound?
not bad. I like it. So these things outperform the Action.
Let's get back to the studio before I freeze my fingers off. The sound quality on these Time Pros will satisfy most listeners. For one, there's plenty of driving power, to the point it gets really loud even at 3/4. It pulls enough G's in the sub-bass department, so if you like your thump, there you go. And vocals, for the most part, are distinct and clear, if a little bit too bright for my preference. Now, I need to point out that it also sounds, the overall sound is a wee bit muffled or dulled, for the lack of a better word. I mean, I just can't put my finger on it. It's kind of like listening to someone with a mild cold talk, if you know what I mean. But that's just being nitpicky, because if you listen to the Time Pro in a vacuum, a lot of you will be really happy with how it sounds. The fact that Hakii was able to make the Time Pro remotely interesting to look at and feel in this field of 1,000,001 AirPods copycats is a minor miracle in of itself. And did I already say how much I dig the mineral-like look of this thing? It's really nice. So well done, Hakii, well done. As many of you may know, it's not often that I'm impressed by any kind of AirPods clones. What else? Touch control response is quick and has far fewer false pauses for this type of tech. Although the single tap itself can be a pain in the butt whenever you accidentally graze it while adjusting it in your ear. It's really easy to do. I'll give also another plus point to the fit thanks to the oval ear tips. They're confidence inspiring even during semi-vigorous activities like gym work or rope skipping, for example. For running, it may work, but that's really what the Action is designed for. So even with the tempos on my glasses in the way, the ear hooks on the Action are super comfortable and secure, guys. And like the Time Pro as well, the Action seems to share pretty responsive touch controls, so it's hard to mess up double and triple tap sequences. Thank goodness. OMG guys, these earbuds win the most pain in the butt to remove from its case lifetime award, I'll tell you what. Nothing to be proud of here. I mean, if they had carved out notches right here in the corners, it could have solved the problem completely, but the fact is, they didn't. The biggest problem and head scratcher that I have with the Action is the poor bass and overall lack of audio punch, especially one that's touted as a workout device, for crying out loud. You want some good bass to get your blood pumping, and there's good hardware on board, so there's no excuses there, like the QCC3040 chipset or the Daikoku CCA coils. I initially blamed the fit and also maybe that the ear hooks weren't optimized for my ears, so when I experimented and suspended the hooks and just focused on adjusting the main unit around in my ear canal, the SQ was still shockingly bad. I mean, even the open air Soundcore frames, as hard as that is to believe, have fuller sound. But it's true. And it's a shame really at the same time. And also I'm not sure where all the positive customer reviews are coming from, where they say it's good sounding, has good bass. I'm just not experiencing that. You know, I'm kind of curious now. Were these two conceived in two different labs or by two different development teams or something? Because not only do these have completely different sound qualities or sound principles, but even small things like the voice audio cues when you switch to, say, game mode. On the Time Pro, it sounds like proper English, but on the Action, you have this lady with a really strong Chinese accent trying to say, "Game 1" or "Game off." It's really surreal. For both of these models, I'm putting customer support in the neutral territory, since honestly there's very little data right now regarding how well or not Hakii supports their customers. So if you have your own experiences or stories, feel free to share with us down in the comments. I really enjoy how Hakii does the design and materials of their products, and you can check out their website, I'll link it down below, and you can see for yourselves what I'm talking about here, which is also partly why I took the chance to review the Action and the Time Pro. And sure, some of you, and I understand this, may call these things cheap Chinese crap, But let's face it, all companies have to start somewhere, right? So I'm giving Hakii the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, Anchor did it, Soundpeats did it, and look where they are today. And I admire Hakii for coming out with unique products right off the bat. Their packaging, for example, they really stand out among the crowd. And their website, if you look at it, is not like most other Chinese companies where you see typos and grammar issues every other second. Sure, in the case of this video though, the big miss is the action. The sound and fit, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. The Time Pro though, on the other hand, it combines in one solid package, tight sound, comfort, secure fit, looks, solid build, all in one competitive price. If only they had aptX, and that's the only thing I can think about. So with all that said, I'm giving the action a GearUP score of 7.1 out of 10, while the Time Pro nets an 8.2 out of 10. If you have any questions of how I got to the final scores, feel free to comment down below. Well, thank you for watching, guys, and don't forget, I'm giving away one of these Soundpeats Air 3s. I'll link the deets down in the description below, so check it out for a chance to win something for once in your life. Just kidding. It's really simple and easy. And also remember to subscribe to show your support, and it would be super awesome to reach 50,000 subs or more by the end of the year. So thank you in advance for your help. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, Insta, and Patreon if you like to financially invest in this channel. And also remember to thumbs up if you like this video and comment nicely down below. And thumbs down. Thumbs down. And I haven't done this in a long time. If you've recently bought a new set of scissors for your household and then you came back and realized that your spouse is left-handed. Yes, big mistake there, guys, because have you ever seen a left-hander trying to cut a straight line with a regular pair of scissors? It's like watching a blind person do it, but only worse. Yes, but it's not too late, my friends, because if you want to earn back some brownie points from your spouse, just go to the store right now and get some lefty scissors, because nothing shows how much you love your southpaw significant other like a left-handed cutting tool. Anyways, that's all I got. That was really bad. Remember to do something loving and kind for somebody today, because the world, guys, needs it more than ever. And it starts with you. I love y'all very much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.